Welcome to the Bryan Callen Show. A couple things. I want to start out with the fact that I have a cold. Not COVID, but I do have a cold. I have a cold, and it's in my head, and it's in my chest. Now, this is something I have to talk about, because what I realized was that, first of all, the frequency in which I get colds is low, because I know that you have to sleep. Problem is, I have a baby that's 8 months old. And my baby was coughing. My baby had pink eye. Do you think in any way I created distance between me and my 8-month-old? No, I didn't. Because I'm a man and I kissed the shit out of him. I kissed I knew he had pink eye in both eyes. I never stopped kissing him. I never stopped cuddling him. I never stopped bringing him in the bed in the morning, which is my favorite thing to do. And then he gets all cuddly. All right? So I still wouldn't have gotten sick, but I went to Seattle. I went to Spokane. Seattle's this coming week, Tacoma. I went to Spokane and I ran it hard. I was having fun doing my shows. And the last night, I got off stage about 1 a.m., maybe 12:30. By the time you get your check, by the time you say bye, you're home at the Airbnb at 1:30. I had an 8 a.m. flight. You know the math. I got to wake up at 6. I'm getting 4 hours of sleep. Then my throat started hurting. Now, here's a couple things. When my throat starts hurting, typically what I do is I gargle with salt water every hour. I take ascorbic acid. Vitamin C is not going to do anything, but the ascorbic acid and the vitamin C coat your throat. Okay? So bear with me because there's a larger point to this. And sometimes you can stop the virus from replicating, from going to the next cell if you localize it in your throat and you sleep. Sometimes, though, the virus is a kind of virus that says, that's adorable. You're trying to wash me out of your throat. I'm getting down in your chest. And I'm going to live up in your nose and in your fucking ears. Now I'm going to make it worse. Oh, are you taking Sebucus or whatever that is? You taking elderberry syrup? You taking golden seal and all your horse shit home remedies, which I do? You taking ginseng? Some colds laugh at that shit. They just laugh at it. In fact, I think they feed on it. I think they literally are like, give me more vitamin C, more vitamin D, more sunshine, more sleep. I'm just going to get stronger. I'll admit it. It's what I have. Part of the reason I hate getting sick is it reminds me of how truly mortal I am. How I'm flesh and blood, and at the end of the day, a bitch. At the end of the day, I'm a victim to forces much greater than myself. I am fallible, killable, sickable, and everything can bring me to my knees or lay me on my back. Excuse me. I'm drinking hot tea. So, a couple things. Since I've been a kid, I've been trying to figure out ways to cure the common cold. I used to take huge amounts of garlic. I stunk. Didn't work. Huge amounts of ginseng, golden seal, echinacea, didn't work. Gargle with salt water, didn't work. Sometimes it does. One time I had curry with ginger. An Indonesian woman made me curry with a lot of ginger and some special spices. It worked. It worked. It knocked it out of my body. But like animal attacks, whether it's a shark or a bear or a snake bite, everybody's got opinions on what to do if you get fucking sick. Here you go. Let's look this up. My trainer, Lou Parada, who I love and who's brilliant, and he's the greatest. But even Lou, who knows everything about health and never goes sick, he goes, get some chicken soup old school. It works. Steamed rice and eggs and put some Vicks Vapor Rub on your chest and back. Cover up with a t-shirt. Believe it or not, it works, dude. A couple times throughout the day and right before bed. Everybody's got an opinion. You know what, Lou? I love you. I respect you. you're 65 and I want to look like you. And the whole world, if the world followed Lou Parada's advice, we wouldn't need healthcare. How about that? But in this case, you're wrong. You're wrong. Because the virus is just too fucking strong. Now, am I going to miss a beat? Am I going to miss a beat? Am I going to miss my shows in Tacoma? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I can't wait. I'm going to fly into Seattle. I'm going to drive the half hour to Tacoma, and I'm going to get up on stage, and they will not know that I'm sick because I'm a man. All right? Yeah, I'm bringing gender into this. I had a great time in Seattle. I had some fun. I went shopping with my features, Kevin Mack and Nick Simmons. And Nick's a bodybuilder, so he just goes right to the chicken breast. He just goes to chicken breast. I don't think he eats anything other than chicken breast. You know, and some buffalo sauce. And sometimes he puts cornflakes around them. Because apparently bread is, a no-no when you're trying to get huge. So he did that. And I realized that I took them not to Safeway, but to a really expensive, exclusive, organic grocery store called Pilgrim's. And a Boy Scout came up to me and he said, "Hi, sir, would you like to buy some popcorn for my, to support my troop?" And I'm not going to say no to a Boy Scout. He's there with his mother. And I go, "Absolutely, young man." He gave me a great pitch. A little by rote, to be honest with you. A little rote. There wasn't a good read. His hands were at his side and he was standing at attention and he kind of was speaking a bit robotically. But he's a kid. He's learning how to be a salesman. I don't think being a salesman is in his DNA. I don't think he's a talented salesman. I'm going to say that. His name was Tucker. Adorable, sweet kid. Obviously, he's got a great mom. They were standing out there selling popcorn. But his sales pitch needed work. I didn't say that to him, but I clocked it. And then I said, "I'll get the cheddar popcorn." And he said with a straight face, "That'll be $25. Now, COVID. No, it's not. I got a test. Kevin Mack started laughing so hard because I didn't have cash and he did. He started laughing so hard and he goes, "Kid, I'm not spending $25 on a bag of popcorn." Now the kid's like confused. The mom looks at him and goes, "Well, there's $5 for inflation." And he goes, "Well, then that's $20 for a bag of popcorn. Still too much." I paid for it. I spent $25 on a bag of popcorn, and it was the worst popcorn I fucking ever had in my life. It was cheddar? Really? Because was the cheddar cardboard flavored? Huh? Or was it, I don't know if it tasted like, it was like a combination of cardboard and medicine. So I had 2 handfuls in my mouth because I couldn't believe how bad the first handful was. I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way I spent $25 on cardboard / medicine flavored popcorn. And then, because I was like, that must have been a bad handful. Maybe I got the top part that was exposed to fucking cardboard and medicine. But I'm sure the layer underneath that is going to taste like cheddar and corn, which is what I paid for, which is what I overpaid for. Nope. The second handful tasted more like cardboard and more like fucking antibiotics. So fuck that. Anyway. Here's the other thing I realized about myself. When I go to a store like that, I spend money. I spent $176 and it was one bag because I had to buy aged Parmesan cheese, which is about $150 just for one little fucking slab. That's the biggest scam in the world, by the way. I know it takes a long time to make, but fuck off. And then I had, I don't know what else I got. I got stone ground mustard, but the best kind. I always get the designer shit. If you have water, and I could just get that water, but then you have a water that's in what looks like expensive plastic, and the labeling has like a mountain that's been etched by a reasonably talented artist, And then you have a little piece of information like the pH is just so. I don't even know what the fuck pH is, but the pH is just so. And it's alkaline to my body or whatever. And oh, by the way, it comes from the deep fissures of the Swiss Alps. I'm spending an extra $3 on that water because I'm a sucker. When it comes to chicken breast, if you've got pasture-raised chickens, as in chickens that have been in the grass, eating bugs as opposed to corn in some feedlot, I'll spend an extra $6, $7 on that fucking chicken. Because in my mind, it keeps me cancer-free and healthier, and it tastes better. Now, I was with Nick, who was like, are you out of your mind? You're going to spend that much money on fucking that chicken breast? Get this chicken breast. I go, no, they make that in China. And he goes, no, they don't. It's sourced, grown, processed in the United States. I was like, okay, I'll eat regular chicken breast. I'll slum it. I'm a fucking aristocrat when it comes to this shit, and it's embarrassing. And I admit that. Yeah. I'll give you an example. There's a brand of water called Soma. It's $30. Okay? It's $30 a fucking bottle. Veen is $23. Now, this I won't do. I won't buy, oh my God, there's a bottle called Luliac, which is $50 a bottle. Can I please see what's in that besides horse shit? Derived from the Sarek Kulak Glacier in Greenland, which has been a UNESCO protected site since 2004, the icebergs are carried onto a boat by local workers before being carried into vats so it melts naturally. Similar to berg water, production on Uliak is limited due to its reliance on environmental factors and natural elements. Go fuck yourself. If you spend $50 on a bottle of water because it comes from an iceberg, you should not be allowed to vote.
Do you want to guess how much that bottle of water costs?
Well, I can see the bottle there. It's just going to make me angry. Because it's Beverly Hills water. Yeah, it's $100,000. Yeah, I know. I can't because it's got diamonds on it. And it's when you have too much money and you need to spend it for tax purposes, you buy water like that. But I don't care. Yeah, and if you're going to do that and not give it to an orphanage or something, then you should die. You should actually die. And some people, as we all know, need to die. Now, my highlight of my my trip in Spokane was not hiking. I went hiking in grizzly territory and got stung by a yellow jacket because I decided to hike in my toe holds. By the way, we're always brought to you by toe holds. And by the way, Toehold was founded by A.G. Gregoroff, who was hiking with flip-flops because he's from San Diego and he lives in flip-flops, which doesn't mean he can't choke your lights out, by the way. Brown belt, 10th planet, brown belt. But his flip-flops broke. So he goes, I got to go home and make some fucking flip-flops that are indestructible that won't break when I hike. So then he did that and he kept failing at it. And then he went to Japan and studied leather work. And now we use Wicked and Craig leather, which is the best leather. And he came up with this tuck under design, which holds the flip-flop to your foot. And then these Vibram soles. So I went on a 5-mile hike in my flip-flops. Did I get stung by a bee? Yeah. Would I not have gotten stung by a fucking yellow jacket if I'd been wearing regular shoes? Yeah. But you know what? I believe even though my foot throbbed for 5 hours, I don't know how something that little can put you in that much pain. It throbbed for 5 hours. I used the poison. I was like, the poison is going to be an adrenaline rush. I was already nervous because of fucking bears everywhere. I mean, even though we didn't see any, but I was trying to make a lot of noise as we were walking. But the highlight was I got to meet Michael Chiesa, who came to my show. MMA fighter, top of the food chain, Michael Chiesa, who fought at 55 most of his career. Now he's at 70. He walked into my green room after my show. He's got a great sense of humor. And he struck a Kung Fu pose because I talk about Kung Fu on my show. And, well, he's 6'2", 205 pounds. Yeah. 6'2", 205. Look at the fucking build on that motherfucker. He's a beast. And he fights at 70 now. But you see that guy and you're like, oh my God. You know, you're like, how the fuck did you get down to 55? It's the same thing with Khabib, only Khabib is shorter. But Chiesa's every bit of 6'2". Great fucking guy. Great guy. Like, you meet a guy like that, all you do is root for him. And, you know, he's sensitive and smart. What I love about him is he's a wrestler, so he hasn't taken any real damage to the head. He just fucking mauls you. He's a beast. And by the way, in high school, middling to average wrestler. Those are his words. I think he was JV. Late bloomer. Late bloomer. Looks way better with short hair and a beard. I'm going to sneeze. Am I? Yeah. We can edit that out. Or we don't.
I think we can.
All right.
Do you feel better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look, really sick.
Yeah, I'm sick.
Your eyes are all watery.
Yes.
You're puffy. And
yeah. I'm fucked up.
Ugh.
It sucks. I haven't been this sick in a long time. This is a cold. I should have gotten a flu shot. Hold on. I'm back. I'm back with watery eyes. Yeah, so I hung with Michael. We spoke about MMA, about the difference in wrestling, the kind of damage you take as a wrestler versus the damage you take as a striker. And it was very interesting. These guys are so different. Guys like Chiesa, Donald Cerrone, you know, various guys who stay in the game at that level are very special. It's more than grit. It's just more than grit. It's the ability to keep getting better. It's the ability to keep adjusting your approach. It's the ability to keep inspired to train on that level. They're very special people. And they will be successful afterwards. Like a guy like Michael, a guy like Donald, it's always like, I want them to stop fighting before Father Time says to stop. I want them to go out right in their prime because they can do other shit. You know, I'm not saying that should be the case with Chiesa because I want to see him fight a lot more, but you know, you want your fighters to kind of like do their thing and then get off the stage. It's like comedy. Have them wanting more, which I don't do enough of. Have them wanting more. No, you're leaving now, dude. That was only 55 minutes. Yeah, see you later. Come back next year. Same thing. Hardest thing in the world to do for everybody, in my opinion, is to say goodbye to something that defines you. Saying goodbye to giving up something that gave you everything is so fucking hard. It's why Anderson Silva is still fighting at 47. How do you stop? Sakuraba fought way longer than he should have. Because you're living such an extreme existence. It's amazing. And it's why people talk about you. It's why people look at you and go, there's that guy. There's that different guy. Every guy wants to be the toughest kid in the neighborhood. Some guys go, I want to be the toughest motherfucker in the world. I want to compete in fighting, not boxing, not Muay Thai, not Taekwondo, not Dutch kickboxing, K1. I want to compete in fighting. I want to get in a cage and see who could kill who with their bare hands first. And you don't have enough time in the day. Your body doesn't have enough resources to actually get as good as you need to in all of those skills. Submission fighting, wrestling, boxing, kicking, and putting it all together. But guys like Chiesa, somehow they find their way through. Somehow we've been talking about that guy since didn't he win tough? Yeah. And he wasn't supposed to. Like, this kid's a hippie and he's sensitive and yeah, guess what? He's a monster. Some people have this drive, this will to win. They need to do it. It's fucking unbelievable. And then to be 6'2", 205, and to be able to suck down to 55 or even 70. Come on, man. Come on. That's why you see a lot of guys like who fought at 85, like Tim Kennedy, who's 220, you know, when he walks around, 220. gets down to 185. So anyway, I'm looking forward to Tacoma. Tacoma's not Seattle, but I'm going to go to Seattle this weekend. And I'm going to, and maybe I'll get an Airbnb in Seattle. And I'm going to go to fucking Seattle, and I'm going to go to that area that was sort of a militarized zone, its own autonomous area.
You're speaking of the Chaz?
I'm speaking of the Chaz. And I want to go talk to some of the shop owners, to the good people that had to deal with that bullshit. That bullshit. Okay? And I want to see if Seattle's tackled its homeless problem. I want to see what that looks like. Because I wasn't that impressed with Spokane. Great people in Spokane, but they got a major fucking problem with meth. You know what I think? You know why I think drugs like heroin and meth and things are such a problem in places like Seattle and Vancouver? Like, it's literally, in Vancouver or Seattle, you can be walking down the street and it's really pretty. You make one turn and it's literally zombie land. And it's because the sun never shines. And they're starting to treat drug addicted people, especially people addicted to opiates, with sunlight. Can you believe that? And if you get a lot of sun, so Alistair Bostwick, who's a reporter, he did this thing on himself. He started getting a lot of sun. And then he took Narcan, which is like this, you know, it's like it's what you give heroin addicts. And he got sick because the sunlight, they think, might creates vitamin D, but it also creates the same opiate, opens the same receptors that opiates do to you. So you can get addicted to the sun. But sunlight's probably better for you than heroin. So a lot of times I think what you should do in Seattle should have just shops, free shops where you can go in there and get some UV radiation. So I'm looking forward to that. That's why Seattle has coffee shops everywhere, because people have to constantly be caffeinated. Otherwise, they'll fucking jump off a bridge. All due respect.
Are you going to do anything that's not a bummer?
I'm talking about my fucking week, dude. All right? Talking about what's on my mind. On my mind. Now, I've also been working out. So I work out. I like every week I work out 20 minutes. It's a bitch though. It's a motherfucker over 20 minutes with Lou Parada. I do this circuit training. I do crazy shit. He changes it up on me. He'll just look at me and go, let's go to the dip bar. Expect the unexpected. I'm like, Lou, but I'm tired. He goes, yeah, I know. Let's go squat and then flip a tire until you want to puke. I'm like, but Lou, he's like, no. Let's do some push-ups on this gravel. It was raining and blowing. And I go, hey man, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. He goes, no, you won't. You'll see me now. Because I'm from Buffalo. We work out in the rain and the wind. So I'm in a parking lot doing step-ups. But my boy Nick is a bodybuilder. And he has me isolating my muscles, going heavy on shoulder day, shoulder and bi day, or trap and back day. Or no, it's triceps and back. And then we do legs. Let me tell you something right now. A couple things about that. A couple things about pushing to failure and working out for an hour or 45 minutes hard. My testosterone spikes. My energy level is stupid. My fucking appetite, I'm eating everything, including candy, including Rolos, Twix, including everything. Sprees. I need the glycogen. Yeah, I said it. I said glycogen, dude. I need it. I start eating because apparently when you go heavy in the fucking gym, you create ghrelin, I think, which is a hormone that causes you to want more food. That's what the fuck I'm doing. So, and by the way, you know what's really sad about all that? You will not see a lick of difference on my body. It will not make me more muscular. The only way I'm getting more muscular, the only way I'm going to get to the point that I want to get to is if I go on testosterone and maybe do a little IGF or whatever the fuck, or peptides. It's the only way. When you get to a certain age, you are running to stand still. Okay? You're running as fast as you can just to stay in the same place. So at the end of the day, I'm going to have to start shooting myself up with some drugs. I'm not doing it yet. I got to get my levels tested. But there's a part of me that wants my levels to be super low. They're not going to be. But I want them to be low so I can be like, yes. So instead of being skinny and energetic, I want to be fucking thick. I'll never be thick, but I want to be just a little more muscular. I want to have a bigger chest and a bigger ass, thicker legs, and most importantly, bigger arms. I got there's nothing I can do about my arms. I have whatever. So like with muscle, when you put muscle on, myostatin, I think, you have to have myostatin in your body that creates, they have these cows called, Google myostatin cows. Take a look at the muscles on these cows. I think if you don't have any myostatin, you just keep putting on muscle. I have too much myostatin. Look at that motherfucker. That's a real cow. That's a bull. Look at that bull. Cow born without the protein myostatin, which allows for crazy muscularity. Muscles on muscles. That's so nuts. That's what I want. I need to get rid of the myostatin in my body. And I never will. That's why, like, I was hoping gene editing would get to a point where I could change my genetics and I could just go in there and I would go, I want Germanic, mesomorph. I want a combination of West African. I want Senegalese genetics mixed with Samoan genetics mixed with Germanic genetics. I love all those. That combination is ridiculous. I can take over the world. And then I want Southern Italian genetics or some kind of genetics that where people don't, whatever the fuck your genetics are, I want those for my hair, only my hair. So I can have ridiculous, you have Wolfman hair. You have fucking Wolfman hair, dude. I want Wolfman hair. Dylan's fucking, his forehead is about an inch high. His hairline starts here. It's true, dude. I'm sorry. You have the thickest hair I've ever seen in my life. You would never need a hat. You wouldn't need a hat in a blizzard. Bees could not sting through your fucking head. Yeah. If bees or even hornets attacked you, your scalp would be 100% fine.
Want any other
No, you have some height. You're 6'1". You'll say 6'2", but it's not a real 6'2" because your legs are short.
They're not.
Well, they're short compared to your body. You have a regular body. You're a tough kid, but I'm not mad at your genetics. You have good genetics. You're the kind of guy you're a man. You're very masculine, but
you're preoccupied with your arms, but you've taught me when speaking of the Senegalese that the ass is really the
yes.
core.
Yeah. Well, the ass, the hips, the core. Your ass, you got your obliques, your core and your ass and your upper thighs are everything in sports. Because that's where you get torque. That's where you get power. I don't care if it's tennis, boxing, baseball, throwing anything. It's all torque. You need that. But I talk way too much about physicality. And I'm getting tired of myself. That's the other thing. Sometimes I get tired of myself. I think that's why I fantasize about being anybody else. I think that's what I do. I'm going to fantasize about being anybody else. Has this been a low energy podcast? I hope not. I'm just trying to talk about my day because I have a cold. So I wanted to go into the fact that I hate being vulnerable and I hate the fact that, and it all comes down to that for me. I still haven't lived down the fact that I'm flesh and bone and I can be killed very easily. That bothers me. It bothers me you can build something like a persona. You can build knowledge. You can build a muscle base, and it can all be taken away from you. It can be destroyed that fast. It's like the Sistine Chapel is one of the wonders of the world. You could destroy it. You could vaporize it in a couple of seconds. I don't like that it's so easy to destroy and so impossible to build. It bothers me. Maybe that's the point of life. That might be the central, the central theme going on in my head all the fucking time. It's like this. Why bother? The biggest question facing a human being when you're trying to be good is why bother? Albert Camus, who is the great existentialist, said the question facing all human beings is why continue? Why not just end it? But of course, you're a fool if you do, because there's so much. That's the point. That you rage against the night. You rage against the fact that you're limited anyway. That you will never achieve self-perfection, but you should go for it anyway. And remember, even while you're going for self-perfection, that that's a fucking illusion. How about that? That even that's an illusion. So you're doomed to chase an illusion, even though you know it's an illusion. Okay? And here's the other thing I'm not doing. What the fuck is this? I'm not going to be a contemplative athlete. I'm not sitting in a cave in Tibet and trying to get to a higher plane and opening my gamma waves or whatever it is. I'm not doing it. I'm not. I'm going to engage in the world in real time. I'm reading Shantaram right now, which is this amazing book about basically Bombay. Bombay is chaos, slums, wealth. It's all Afghans, Muslims, Christians, Hindus. It's literally all of humanity. It's literally the base of the Tower of Babel. And they're trying to build a tower. And they're doomed to never get to the top. I just came up with that metaphor. Fuck. Hope you guys wrote that down. Yeah.
This is a little bit more helpful.
The body's judgment is as good as the mind's. We get into the habit of living before acquiring the habit of thinking. Yeah, he was a bad motherfucker. Albert Camus, the French existentialist. You know, these are the guys you read, but you got to be careful when you read philosophy, because you end up going in a circle. Every time I go down the philosophy rabbit hole, and I do it a lot, I'm just left with a bunch of questions. Like every philosopher, you could read Nietzsche, you could read Albert Camus, you could read anybody. This isn't me, this is a professor who said, and you would have to have a semicolon after it, which would say, or not, or to be continued. That's the fundamental difference between philosophy, you guys, and religion. Religion is faith, which is that, look, it's not for you to figure this shit out. It is for you to behave a certain way because it was given to you from something bigger than yourself. That's where the commandments come from. That's where scripture comes from, whether it's the Upanishads, Buddhist writings from Siddhartha Gautama, or the Old Testament and New Testament. That's why the Israelites were punished by God. In the book of Kings, in the book of Chronicles, in the book of Samuel, all these books, mainly the two major figures in the Old Testament, Saul and David, the kings of the Jews, were so flawed. They were such flawed people. And God said, you guys keep looking for a king. You keep looking for somebody. It's like all you need is my word. If you follow the shit that I etched in stone and gave that guy Moses, you'll be fine. But human beings are like, no, I don't want to do any thinking for myself. I want somebody to do the thinking for me. I can't believe I'm quoting Old Testament shit. I'm not even religious. But I do find some of the tenets to be very interesting. By the way, I'm doing this podcast and I feel like I'm underwater. I may as well be underwater. I can't hear anything. My ears are stuffed. My head feels like it's a crowded lifeboat. And there's like, can we have room for one more? Let's get one more guy into his ear. Yeah, go get 3. Well, he's got his kids too. Fuck. Well, we got to, and the wife, but also the grandmother. Can we bring the dog? And they just keep piling people onto the fucking lifeboat. And I'm the one trying to like keep everything together. But we're taking on water and I can feel it in my ears. That's a lifeboat metaphor for my fucking head.
Well, do you want me to give you some fun topics?
Yeah.
Well, so you said you got stung by a yellow jacket. I was stung by a hive of them as a young boy, so I know the pain of that. But I was wondering, are they even close to the top 10 insect stings?
They're not. They're not. Yellow jackets are like, on a scale of 1 to 10, they're like a 4.2. I think. Can you look that up? There's a sting index, dude.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, it hurt, and my foot hurt for 6 hours. and it stung me where my toe meets my foot in that fleshy, delicious area. And when I pulled him off and the thing was just squirming on the ground and Kevin stepped on this motherfucker, and I swear to God, the thing got stepped on and went, fuck you, and flew away. Fucking flew away. And then I realized that we were in a swarm of yellow jackets and we all ran like children, fast as we could. And as I was running, I lost my toe hold.
Yeah, so the Schmidt index.
Yeah, the Schmidt index. I've met him.
Have you really?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a 2 out of 4. There's only one B.
So it's a scale of 1 to 4?
1 to 4.
It's a bullshit index.
I think
so it's a 2. So it's middle of the road. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's one B that gets into the 3s, and it is the paper wasp.
Yeah, the paper wasp is a bitch. Bring that motherfucker up. Now, I've seen that many times. I've seen a paper wasp many times. That sucks right there.
Where did you see them? Because they're in North America.
Yeah, I see them all the time. I have those motherfuckers in my house, I think. I know what a paper wasp is.
But it's fascinating because the top 3 most painful insect bites are all ants.
Carpenter ant? No, I mean, the bullet ant. Fire ant? Really? Hold on. Really? No, I've been stung by a red fire ant. Fuck that index. Dude, the executioner wasp. I mean, I think the carpenter ant, which is actually a bee. There are a lot of these motherfuckers that will sting the shit out of you, dude. I mean, the murder wasp. I mean, they all suck. Warrior wasp. Holy shit. Tarantula hawk is a nightmare. The tarantula hawk is like getting shot with a 45, apparently. They're not aggressive, but they are so scary looking. And the bullet ant. That shit is like off the charts. It lasts up to 24 hours. Look at that shit. Lasts up to 24 hours. You're not sleeping. You're just in pain all the time. Are you out of your mind? Yeah, that's a fucking ant, dude. And they sting you with their ass. No, there's an Indian tribe in the Amazon that they douse them in some kind of a tincture so that they're all asleep. And then you put your hands into gloves, and they've been woven into the reeds of the gloves, the fabric. And as they wake up, they start to sting your hands. And you have to sit there and you go into hallucinations and stuff. You're getting stung over and over by bullet ants. It's a rite of passage. It's insane pain. But there's something about going through pain like that purifies. There's something about pain, loss, deprivation, all that shit that causes you to leave behind what you thought you were supposed to be and what you were supposed to do and enter into a new phase. That's what, and I think you're supposed to like keep on keeping on. You can't just crawl up into the fetal position. You might have to, but it doesn't mean you don't keep on keeping on. You keep fighting. You know, it's like, that's important. Yeah, for their manhood ritual, the Maui submerged hundreds of bullet ants, hundreds, in a natural sedative, rendering them unconscious. These large ants are then woven into gloves made of leaves, with their stingers pointing towards the inside of the glove. First of all, this is the kind of shit dudes do, okay? This is the kind of shit dudes do. Whoever came up with the idea, the ability to sew ants into like, specifically a certain way. Whoever said, I'm going to come up with a way to make the ant kind of like unconscious. We'll knock the ant out. We'll give him anesthesia. And then I'm going to sew him in just so he doesn't get hurt with his stinger, with his ass out. And then you're going to put him in gloves. Like that is some guy. That's the same guy who was like, let's see if we can ride a bull. Let's put a bull in a testicle cinch. And then let's see how long you can ride it. Look at these motherfuckers. Look at how many there are. I've never seen this before. Human beings, guys are so funny. Guys are like, dude, I dare you to do this. It started with, I dare you to let it sting you. When I was younger, we were in Virginia and it was so cold. It was so oppressively cold. It's the kind of cold that hurts your face. Like you can't go outside. The East Coast has that kind of cold. Like we were in the mountains actually in West Virginia. The cold will hurt your face. It's so cold that you can't be outside for more than 3 minutes because you can die. Like that. And what were we doing? My buddies and I were like, I dare you to go out there and stand there naked for 15 minutes. Of course. Of course. And so you try to do it for 15 minutes and then you get frostbite and you're all fucked up. Guys will do that shit all day long. I dare you to ride that massive wave. It's a tidal wave. I dare you to ride it. But there's always somebody that's not only going to do it, but do it well. It's the same impulse that says, I dare you to go to the moon. Why? Because it's there, dude. Think about the ambition that human beings have. Bullet ants and the moon. If it's there, it's like parkour. I dare you to scale that building without ropes. Somebody's got to do it. They can't help it. They're like, I have to. Guys, we have a suicide mission. We have to go kill the king. But it's going to be very dangerous. We got to go into caves and there's a dragon there. There's always guys who are like, dude, it may be a suicide mission, but what if we survive? I'm a hero. It's all hero complex. I have that so deep in me. Don't challenge me. I'm not doing bullet ants and I'm not going to the moon. Because I don't want to, because when you're without gravity for that long, you lose bone density. I know it's weird to say that right now. But that's the shit I think about. It always comes back to bone density and muscles. I have so many problems. I have problems. I really, at 55, I've just not outgrown my trauma. What were you going to show me?
Speaking of the moon and boys.
Yeah, this redirection test. I don't care. I don't care about asteroids. I don't care about NASA. I don't care about the space. It's not an interest to me. I think it's awesome, but it's not interesting to me. I don't know why. I'd rather talk about bullet ants.
Do you not care about aliens?
No, I don't care about aliens. Don't give a shit about aliens. Don't give a shit about that. I'd way rather deal with things on Earth, especially objective reality, like the fucking hundreds of stings a bullet ant can deliver to your hands. And then you got to sit there. And sometimes you go into shock. You go into convulsions. You have hallucinations. And guess what? That's the point. Yeah. And I've heard some people even die because the poison is just too much. But how fucking awesome is that? Let me see something. Let me see this. Right now I'm watching this guy get fitted with these gloves. Dude, you look, here's the other thing. Everybody before you has done this. This is a boy right now. Everybody before you has done this shit. Okay? You're going to panic. Get into an ice bath, you can't wait to jump out. This is way worse because you don't get used to it. You're not getting used to this shit. You just got to deal with it. You got to go into a trance and fucking deal with your hands being on fire. Torture. Let's see if you can torture. But I respect the shit out of this. I respect the shit out of it. Like, it's just incredible. This is a rite of passage. Why does every rite of passage, why does it have to do with pain? Navy SEAL training. We look at Navy SEALs because they went through insanity to get there. We look at Olympic athletes because we know they went through pain to get there. There's something about watching a fellow human being go through insane pain that we later respect, admire, and are in awe of. What's that tell you? It's all about pain. If you got a cold, fuck you, do a podcast. See how I bring it back to myself? It's so sad. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Tacoma. I'm going to go to Whole Foods if there is one there. I'm going to buy a bunch of food, save money. I'm going to restaurants, and I'm going to eat clean. And you know what else I've decided? I'm having a dilemma about food. I don't think I'm going to eat red meat anymore. That's complete bullshit because I'm going to shoot the fuck out of a deer and a pig. I don't know if pig, that's a white meat. I'm going to shoot a deer, an elk, whatever I can do. I want game meat. I'll eat that. But cows, I saw this woman with her cow. She raised it from a baby and he's super affectionate. And I don't think I do well with red meat anyway. So I'm just going to eat chicken and other stuff. All right, guys, this has been a rambling podcast. I'll be in Tacoma this weekend. Okay? Tacoma Comedy Club. Come see me. All right? And then I'll be at Bridgeport at the Stress Factory, Bridgeport, Connecticut. That's October 13, 14, 15. Then I'm in Schaumburg, Illinois, Chicago Improv, October 27, 28, 29. Then I go to Charlotte, North Carolina Comedy Zone, November 10, 11, 12. Naples, Florida, Off the Hook, December 1, 2, 3, and 4. I can't wait. Get your tickets. BryanCallen.com. This has been the Bryan Callen Show.
Bryan Callen, this is his intro song. Bryan